Okay, so everything should be on. Oops, music's not on. Okay, there you go. Now we got some music there. All right, hello everybody. This is CVGS. I'm the captain here, and welcome to our discussion stream. As usual, I am the first one here because I am running the show. But at the same time, also we will be expecting Leon over here. Dempsey unfortunately won't be able to make it tonight because he is kind of bogged down in the moment with another project that he's doing right now. Edric Vanguard, hello, hi, what's up? Right, so it is a discussion stream. Not much that we gleaned from last week, but then again, it's only because of the fact that next week is actually the release of the first booster set, at least in the Japanese time frame. So yeah, next week it will be the release of it. So I'm not too certain how we actually no, it's not next week. It's actually I think about 2 weeks if I'm not mistaken. Let me check my calendar quickly. So where is my calendar? Oh, it's actually in 2 weeks time. Okay, so it's not so fast. It's actually in 2 weeks time that we'll be seeing the booster set stuff coming out. But we are kind of psyched for it because we did get review of the Overdress Jello Potato. And as I was looking through all of this, and you know, especially the Japanese side, I realized something. This whole time I've been trying to track down cards that's on their timeline. It's like, okay, which one's the new one and which one is just like promotional material considered for the following. But no, as it turns out, I actually completely forgot that they actually have a whole archive for today's cards on their website. So I've actually opened it up and we can actually see not only the card reveals over the days, but also the card reveals that was during the live stream as well. So we get to see them all in one convenient spot. I can't believe I forgot about a place like this, but thankfully I did. Should make it easier for me to actually also source out some of these images that you guys see in our recap videos and such and such. So yeah. I guess we should talk about what was revealed, which was actually the Overtriggers. The Overtriggers was actually all revealed yesterday actually. And we get to see these three over here. These three are the ones that we learned. The Brandgate Overtrigger, the Cannon Sanctuary one, as well as the Stoicheia one. So change the text of Stoicheia. What do you mean by change the text of Stoicheia? Because, if you mean in terms of clarity, there's really no need to, because technically speaking, it's all the triggers. So, all of the what it lists is all the triggers. So, when you know that it's all the trigger effects, you kind of get the idea that, oh, because it's trigger effect, so they're gonna be going at the end of the turn. It's kind of self-explanatory in terms of that. The original reason why they put until end of turn is because the idea that you're supposed to gleam was that from Stoicheia, the additional ability is draw a card, choose one of your units, it gets 1 critical. Then, all of your units in the front row get plus 10k, and after that, if you have more damage than your opponent, you choose one of your cards in damage zone and heal it. So it's technically all the triggers in Overdress as one. And because the idea was that it's all of the triggers at once. So having them put like once per turn is not really necessary, because everybody knows everything resets back to the way that it was once you've triggered it. So in a way, changing the text of Stoicheia is not necessary, because you have to you have to come to the realization that this is the triggers. I've actually been talking to a lot of people on Twitter about it today. So until the term was there, it just had after it 3 weeks in one booster set. Oh, that okay. Hang on, I need to read on. Until the end of turn was there, making it more confusing. Yeah, if you put until the end of turn, oh, okay. Just say after the end of turn, make it more confusing. Honestly, I get the reason for the clarification. I get the need for it, but at the same time, also I kind of see it and I'm like, oh, I get it. It's all the triggers. That means they're all not gonna stay come the turn, because I realize that they're all triggers. So that's kind of like the main reason why I really didn't bring it up, or I didn't see, like the big deal about it, because not only was it an over trigger where you, in order to get the additional effect, you have to check it first, drive check it to be more specific, in order to get all those effects. But at the same time, also it's all the triggers at once, unless it's a skill that's like says, oh, power up until the end of the turn. Oh, it gets double the Vanguard and the critical for the turn, the so on and so forth. So this one is alright. In my book, this one is actually kind of alright. Wording wise, it did need a little clarification, but I don't mind it being the way that it is, because it needs to be clear cut or rather it needs to be realized by players that these are all the triggers at once. So that's my take on it. So the one for Brandgate, additional ability is that for that turn, when you check it, all of your units in the front row gets double the power and critical until the end of the turn. So this one is actually quite big, because this is something that I can see you want to trigger at the end game, because that's where you get a huge power spike. Not only will you be able to double up the 100 million, either on your Vanguard or your Rear Guard or some sort of like that, but at the same time also trigger it early also could help with hand size damage, but it'd be much more effective at the end game. I dislike Semi a lot of the new ways they worded stuff, where they are trying to make sure that they're able to get the information correct without using too many words. The main reason why V series the wording was shortened was also because of the fact that it was very wordy, and text, even especially in English, get really squished, and it became very hard for people to read. So they want to make sure that the important point goes across, and sometimes even for triggers themselves, they say, give it power until the end of the turn. Like, you don't really need the end of the turn, because it is explained that it's a trigger power, unless it specifically states like for the rest of the game, or until your opponent's next end phase. Like what they've done with the Brandgate one, they say for that turn. So they are relaying to you the important details, and they're also cutting out the fat, so that they can not only put more words if there's more skills to it, but also the capabilities of being able to deliver straight what people need to know about what this card does. So, like it or not, the information is all there. It's all straight up over there. So there are some 1 or 2 cases whereby the wordings may need some clarification. I say the Stoicheia one will be for one of them, but but for most of them, it's kind of like you see it, you know what it does, and because you know how Vanguard works and how it plays, you kind of get the idea and the notion of, hey, this thing I think doesn't really last at the end of the turn, because technically speaking, it's a trigger. It's not supposed to last until the end of the turn. The 100 million is not going to stay for turns past that point, so that's kind of the idea. Right, so last but not least, we also have the Catastrophic one, and this one was the big one. This one was a doozy because this one says that the additional ability for the rest of the turn, all of your rearguards, during the battle, that all of your rearguards attack can perform a drive check, which is super big in Overdress, because if you play this with Bastion, not only they have the twin drive ability, so they get to twin drive over there. So additional ability, additional effect, draw a card, choose one of units until the end of the turn, it gets +1 critical. Yes, correct. It does say so in there. So for that turn, +1 critical. Choose one units for the turn, get +1 critical. It gets, and all of your units of front row gets +5k. Okay. Like I said, I see where the need for clarification comes in. So it does say until the end of the turn. I do see where the clarification is, because that thing is only up to the critical. So people are wondering whether the 10k stays or not. So, and it has been clarified that, you know, the 10k does not stay because it's the trigger from there. So anyways, back to the Cactus Sanctuary one. This one is big because not only is it good in premium, because, you know, if you play Bastion, you have great trees in the front row, all of them can drive check, but as thematically the music is right now, this has huge implications in premium because of Ultima. And I'll bring up Ultima very quickly, but the idea is that with Ultima, the fact that if your Overtrigger is still in the deck some way, somehow, what you can do is that when placed on your Vanguard circle, Counterblast 2, search your deck for 4 cards, shuffle your deck, call 2 cards from one of the separate regard circles, and put the rest of the top of the deck in order. Until the end of the turn, choose all of your units for units for your trigger effects. So combine that with this. You will want to trigger Ultima as early as possible, because with that, you'll be able to get the Overtrigger out, and then not only will everything get 100 million, but also everything will be able to do a drive check as well, which is insane. So if you put Great Trees next to Ultima over there, you know, we'll have a twin drive. There's a lot of effects going on with Ultima in terms of where you can use it. And this works for any United Sanctuary or Cactus Sanctuary deck. So like anything can be the base. You just need to have Ultima in there, have this Overtrigger in play, boom. Very strong. Which is why I would go out on a limb and say that we are going to be expecting a restriction very soon, because I think that they might put a restriction on having Ultima and the Overtrigger in the same deck, and they might apply it to not just to they might not apply it to just to just this Overtrigger itself. Maybe maybe it's just this Overtrigger, and they will let you use the vanilla one, because that seems still alright. Because when you're going up against Ultima, you are expecting to guard off everything, because at that point in time of the game, you probably will want to PG8, so you'll have everything on standby for perfect guards and all that. So something like this. So something like this may not be able to share the deck with Ultima, but I can still see like the normal Overtrigger, the Crit Limiter one that you get from the start decks, be able to work with it, because it's just a power up. This one is just a little bit too much, so I'm not too certain whether they will see a restriction, but that will depend on tournament play, because tournament play will absolutely 100% determine what may be restricted, what may not be restricted. So yeah, Bushiroad may have to step in for that. So just don't let Overtriggers in premium. Well, the thing is, these Overtriggers are actually really good in premium. Actually, all of them has strong uses in premium format, and it adds a lot of freshness to it as well. Because currently right now, if you look at some of the other stuff from the sets that we're getting out, like a lot of these, right, will end up, especially like Eugene, like Orpheus, like some of the other start decks as well. Those guys will have to take the ace of will have to take the ace back up from there, and so they might end up fighting with whatever other aces that's in the deck. So if they are not gonna be there, you know, players may choose for the more tried and true method in premium, and so they want something from the Overdress format to be able to go in. That's where the Overtriggers really come in nicely, and they come in nicely because they are quite fair. To say the least. So in terms of the fact that in order to get all these additional abilities, this restand your Vanguard, this double your front row critical and power, your front rows all drive check, you still need to do a trigger check on that. And the only one that has the guarantee is Ultima. So that's why I say that if they do choose to put a restriction list, the one I can see being hit would be the Captain Sanctuary Overtrigger and Ultima not be able to share the same deck. But at the same time also, I don't see Overtriggers actually being restricted from premium, because it's supposed to, anything that's new that comes out always freshens up the premium as well. So to deny them like something as good as the Overtriggers is a little bit too much also, and premium players may kind of complain in terms of like, oh, we're not able to get these Overtriggers, then what's the point of me getting all of these? Especially what's the point of me investing in new stuff, which business wise that's something that they kind of want to do. So to be fair, if you're on Ultima, you should be winning at this point. That is true. That is true. To be fair, if you're on Ultima, you should be at the point whereby you're winning. But at the same time, also your opponent can still have like enough guards to be able to pull it off or so. And so having the Overtrigger may or may not decide the game for you. So having 200 million instead is a little better than your rear guards being able to drive check at the same time, which is quite rough. So because not only would they be able to check, especially if the guy filters, if the guy managed to filter somehow and he has got 10 triggers left in the deck, so then all of his rear guards will drive check stats, and then they'll just stand themselves. They go, then drive check. That's an infinite already. So all the more Captain Sanctuary should not be able to share a deck with Ultima from there. So right. Then we also got the cards of the day today, which I am digging some of the designs for, especially the Stealth Fiend. Right, so the Stealth Fiend, their skills are, let me read it off. So for this one on the left, but this really is placed on the Regard Circle. This is all for Dragon Empire. Counterblast 2, Soul Charge 1, choose one of opponent's regards and retire it. So this one is actually support for Eugene, because that's a instant retire, and Soul Charge 1 helps with paying the cost for Eugene as well. It's alright. Counterblast 2 may seem a little bit on the more expensive end, but because Eugene doesn't actually use any counterblast, so you might have the space to be able to slot him in. So if you're not using him, you might be using Virena, but between the two, I think that you want to use Virena for the extra power. So, and it's a little bit cheaper as well, because you just need to, oh wait, no, hold on, Virena is a Soul Blast. I was probably thinking of Argus. Argus is the one that counterblast 1 and you get to draw. So yeah. Those dice make it worth already. So, well, if that's your if that's where you're going in for it, that's alright. So, but the skill is actually still very good as well for the Stealth Fiend. The Stealth Fiend skill is that during your main phase, when your opponent's Regard is retired, by retiring this unit, you look at the top card of your deck, and if it's a unit card, then call a unit card, and if it's not, put it straight into your soul. Again, this is good support for mostly for Eugene, but I can also see Nirvana actually using this quite well. Especially if you're using Virena, you need the Soul Blast in order to activate any destructions that you might need. This is actually a good way to be able to reinforce. And yeah, and the fact that she can just be planted down there. You don't have to activate a skill if you don't need to, but if you do activate a skill, you will be able to get another reinforcement off of there. So, and this is also helpful, especially if you use in premium, because if, like, say you fight against Banner Calling and she's stuck at rest, you can actually, as long as you get a destruction off, you can actually, retire her. You actually get retire her, then potentially replace her with a booster if you find a booster over there. So, yep. What's the captain? Yeah. Are you missing a word there, brain? So, what's the captain? Once Eugene gets his support, I wouldn't run those personally. Too inconsistent. The Virena stuff, I mean, it is your choice to choose. I'm just playing out the options right there. So, normally we have Leon over here because Leon is the one that's playing Dragon Empire, and so we can kind of get his views on things at the moment. But he is running late at the moment right now. He is a working adult after all. We're all working adults, so we all have stuff that we need to take care of in order to make sure that we're still able to do these streams and these videos and even get all this stuff so that you guys can enjoy the content that we like to share with you guys. So yeah, do pardon us, for not being able to make it to these commitments. But as long as we're here, we enjoy you guys, we enjoy your company. Thank you guys for actually being here so that we can continue to do this as much as we can. So that's you know. Sorry, I forgot up. So what's up? Yeah, there we go. Hey, Brian, what's up? Yes, all's good. We're just looking at the new cards. I found their archive for today's cards on their website, so I'm able to search for all the cards that we missed from card of the day and such. And also, it's an easy way for us to talk about the cards that we've just seen over the live stream as well. So, I sell yo. Does anyone know where he gets his information from? Oh, all the information that you can search for, right, is all either on their Twitter and their website as well. So you can actually, if you go to the Twitter, right, if you can get all of the information for all of the releases from live streams, and especially any new card release that they release, they also will put it up here. They will translate it. So the Twitter is a good place. Their website is also another good place as well. For me, because I'm able to read keywords from Japanese, so that's why I'm able to read Vanguard cards. So that's why I'm able to go to their Japanese website, look at their today's cards, and be able to translate all this card text for you. So, right, you forgot the word up. So, if you would the over triggers, which is the best which is the best or worst over triggers? Let's take a look, shall we? All right. There's no way we can bring up the... Oh, there it is right here. So, if I were to rank them, I would say that... So Chaos One will be number 5, but not because of, you know, it being like very bad. It's a really good... It's a really good trigger to get because you get all the triggers at once, and that's quite helpful on top of the 100 million as well. But in terms of comparing to everything else, it's the one at number 5. I will rank it at number 5. Number 4 would definitely be the Dragon Empire one, because Dragon Empire one is a restanding Vanguard. It's very good if it's a restanding Vanguard, because then, you know, you can activate when this unit attacks, and if it doesn't have once per turn, you are able to actually pop up the skill once more. So number 4 is actually really so I put this at number 4. Number 3, I will put it as the Dark States one, because the Dark States one does have a specific timing in terms of you want to trigger this as early as possible, because late as possible may be a bit too late. So in terms of that, I put this at number 3. Number 2, I definitely will put Brankgate, because it's a lot of power they can actually get just from getting this over trigger. You double the power but double the critical. That's a lot of pressure they can put on your opponent. So this one will be at number 2. And number 1 will be the Counter Sanctuary, because Counter Sanctuary Regards can drive check. Simply put, it's a very strong ability. And comparing to everything else that we have here, this is arguably one of the best ones out of the 5 that would rank them. So, yep. Ranking for best worst over trigger, right? Yep, there you go. If Leon comes on, I definitely will ask his 5. So, at the moment, I'm testing them with Irina too, but only because of lack of support. But Eugene still has a few things left, thankfully. Yes, we will be exploring Eugene ourselves, so we will be able to see all of the we will be seeing all of their decks in action for sure. We will try our best to get these supports as well. It should be easy for us to get these supports in terms of the way that we get our cards. So yeah, you can expect a lot of Overdress content from us very shortly, which includes also our first card fights as well. So do look forward to all of those when we actually have, once we have those comes out. So it's coming up very soon, I guarantee you that. Yeah, so the only other thing that was revealed was the dress secret rare, which is this Trickstar over here. And I'm not sure if I can get a video of the foiling. Let me see if I can find it. Yes. I think I have to go to like the... Yeah, I probably have to go to here in order to... Whoops. Alright, just give me a moment, see if I can find their live stream, which is this one over here. Right, I'll keep it to mute so that we don't have any problems with YouTube about it. So yeah, here we go. So this is the foiling for the DSR, which looks really nice. And I like the fact that it's art from Clamp that is on the official card itself. And so yeah, the artwork combined with the foiling for the dress secret rare, this is a very good card to collect. It's a really good card to collect. So I can't believe you put my two main as first and second in your ranking. Thanks, man. I mean, if you look at the cards themselves, right, it kind of makes sense that it should be the way that it is. Because if you really want to like put a ranking to them, none of them are actually bad at all. And comparing between the two of them, right, the more you compare, the more you kind of like get the numbers up. And it's a coincidence that it's your main two, but it is where I would put like the two on in terms of their ranking. So because the drive check, because other people can say that, oh, it's just a drive check, you're probably going to get more blanks, so you're not going to get a lot more power. You will have additional hand from there, so a lot of people might not put the Captain Sanctuary one at 2, but I think most people would put it at number 1 from there. So so yeah, the DSR, as we've seen here, is has a nice foiling. This is a very collectible card, so any collectors or any shiny hunters, like, this is a really, really good card to have. Although please do not try to sell 4 copies of this into a deck and like try to make $1,000 out of it. So that's what some people have done here in my country. So so yeah, I do like the art being the clamp art style, because it makes the DSR a little bit more unique compared to what we've ever seen. If it's like the original Trickstar art making it extra shiny, it wouldn't have been as special. So yeah. So yeah, that is pretty much the news that we got. Not a lot of news that we got from this week in terms of releases. Yeah, just a lot to look forward to in terms of Overdress. For the first BT to come out. So this one's actually one of my favorites, and I can't wait for the Grade 3 to release as well, because we are still expecting the Grade 3, the Virina Valiant. It's confirmed to be a Grade 3 thanks to the commercial that they put out. But in terms of what it does, right, I think the Overdress ability, I think it will have an Overdress ability, but I think it might have a Vanguard ability. If it doesn't have a Vanguard ability, then I would dare say that Virina's Overdress ability is when this unit attacks, if it's in Overdress state, you can perform a drive check with it. So that's what I believe the Grade 3 could be. If it's not a Vanguard and Overdress ability, I will guess its Overdress ability is that it gets to perform a drive check, because for how the card is featured, I believe that it should have an ace kind of skill. And if your ace is gonna be Nirvana, it wouldn't make sense for you to actually have Virina Valiant, not in your right deck, so you can get the persona right, but also for the other things as well. So I would say that if it doesn't have a Vanguard skill, it should definitely have something related to a Vanguard skill in terms of that. And the only thing I can think of is that you give Virina Valiant a drive check. So like, let it do a drive check when it is in Overdress state, which means that you have to choose your Trickstar. You have to choose who to put your Trickstar on. Do you need Argus for the draw? Do you need Virina for the retire and the plus 10k? Or do you want to go with the drive check? Like, there's a good possibility, and the way that the Dragon Empire deck for Nirvana has been acted out, it's a possibility. It's a good possibility that we could see drive check with Virina Valiant. So I was talking to Leon early in the afternoon about it as well. DT Gate support. Also next week, the DSI's Nirvana is coming. Yes, we get to see what Nirvana looks like. So, but I think we might be able to glean a clue of it. We might be able to glean a clue of it when we actually see the episode. Episode 2 is coming out on Saturday. I mistakenly said it's Friday, but it's actually on Saturday, which is actually April 3rd. So that's when it's happening from there. So, alright, thank you, Edric, for joining in. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. So, yeah. So, yeah. Not a lot of news that we have to that we can share and talk about also. But yeah, what do you guys think about the overtriggers thus far? I mean, we do have a poll on our community tab, so you guys can kind of see like some of the original jokes that I'm actually going to be making in the recap video. So that's kind of like your hint as to what to expect. But at the same time also, like, let me know, like, what do you guys think of what we've seen with the overtrigger thus far? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you still feel that more can be done with them to make them a bit more worthwhile to get, even though it's only one copy? Let me know. Only grade 1 Virina is missing. You can make a Virina right chain. Oh yeah, if they do decide to make a grade 1 Virina, it's gotta be able to It's gotta. I it has, because it's a variant name. You expect it to be something good, but for it to be grade 1 with the overdress ability, it might not end up being good actually, because then you would have to choose. You end up choosing the grade 2 and the grade 3 because they'll offer more power and more capabilities. You wouldn't, unless it states that, oh, when this unit boosts, if it's in overdress state, then a lot of good things can happen. But you only have so many trick stars to use, and even if they're not retired or locked or imprisoned or whatever, like, you still have a lot of trick stars that you are able to use. You can fetch some when you play in overdress, so yeah. But at the same time also, like there's only so many to go out of, so I think them not putting a grade 1 might be okay. So it might be okay that they don't have a grade 1, so that would be epic. It would be, but unless it doesn't have the overdress ability and something that you put in the right deck. But I don't think that they might do that. So if they change if they change Trickstar into a Vanguard, into a first Vanguard, then when this unit is ridden over, when this unit is placed on Vanguard circle, if you have Trickstar in the soul, then stuff happens from there. So right. What else is going on in the world of Vanguard from here? All the stores are gearing up for actually the release of the last 2 start decks, and then we have a week off, and then after that we have the first booster come out. I still can't get over the fact that in terms of character, this is the mom, and she looks very, very young compared to the 2 daughters over here. Like, you would think that she's the mom because of how she how she poses here and how she looks, but then again, when you look at this, it's like you get the apron, but how is she so young, and how does her daughters don't look so young? That's like the very odd thing about it for me. So but it's also to see the first episode again, and I am looking forward to the second episode that's on the weekend. So cheers to that. Right, and of course, I believe that, let me just switch the windows so that we have this big, so you guys can see better. So yeah, so this is what I was talking about, the clarification. The all units in the front row part only lasts for the turn, same as the critical. The ability was written in this way for emphasis, because over triggers are really over the top. Get it? Over the top, over trigger. Yeah, we'll show ourselves out also. Yeah, so choose of units and it gets +1 critical until the end of the turn. So, and then yep, they do a lot of translation. So if you are looking for news on cards, this is one place to do it. So if you don't get it from other places like us on YouTube, others as well, and other platforms that does Vanguard content. So yeah, I mean, I made a joke in the Stoichia over trigger. It considers to me us as the pride trigger. Sorry for the LGBT. Oh, okay. Sorry, the LGBT. Oh yeah, because it is rainbow. So, and Stoichia 1, technically it is all of them at once. So yeah. I mean, for me is I wouldn't call it the rainbow trigger, because I think over is kind of that. We usually use the term rainbow to describe people's trigger lineups, actually, because if you play rainbow, it means that you're playing 4 copies of, at the time it was critical, heal, draw, and stand. So we usually call that the rainbow. Yeah, I guess you can replace the stand with the front, and then you will consider that rainbow. And more often than not, I actually tend to play rainbow because in terms of like deck builds, is like I could play more criticals, but at the same time also like at the time with stand triggers, I had stand triggers that actually had good abilities that actually helps with proccing off certain things, and having the ability to send the stand triggers back to the deck as well, that really like made it so that they're quite worthwhile to actually play in your deck. So yeah, nothing much going on from there. We'll just go to our hope and see what's going on. Oh, what has Obari done? Oh, I think it's a Gundam one, so Leon should take a look and see. So yeah, Catastrophic Outbreak. I think this one is this one is releasing April 4 English side, so be seeing those units over there. And currently, right now, that's us. Oh, Different Fight has reached 400,000 subscribers, so congrats to him. Like we both started out around the same time, and to see him like soar as high as he did and continue content in the way that he does, it's like, you know, the man puts in a lot of work, and this is well deserved for him. So yeah. People are having fun in Monster Hunter World, which, by the way, if you guys haven't joined us in Monster on Twitch, we've been playing a lot of Monster Hunter Rise, actually. This is not World, this is Rise. And yeah, we're just having a ton of fun in terms of what we are expecting from the game. So memes galore, jail time, peach time. Nope, it's jail time, so some good laughs. I replied to them with the joke. So yeah, no, you get back in here, make more jokes. Yeah. Yeah, and this one is Mr. Time Leap himself, Vanguard Insider, actually that answers the whole debate from there. So, by the way, next episode is new, or is it the one we just watched? The next episode is a new one. It's officially, the episode 1 was technically yesterday. Supposed to be officially yesterday. The one that we got last week was a sneak peek, and only those that were there was able to see it. So the one that's coming up in the next one on Saturday is episode 2, which is what we're looking forward to. Once it comes out from there. Yep, this is just me talking about the clarification. So yeah. Quite a wide variety of content that we get to see here on our time feed from there. So, including this weird bug with the Kazu, which is hilarious. Final Rush time. Well, that was Final Rush time from there. So, right. Yeah. So, not a lot going on in terms of the world of Vanguard. I mean, we did get 2 consecutive live streams last week, in terms of like, hey, you know, in terms of, hey, we got the Tuesday one, but then we also got some follow-up ones. I kind of think that they should have brought the follow-up ones to this week, because I think that would have padded out the show in terms of releases even further. But I get why they wanted to squeeze it into that day. So because they did want to gear people up for the Dark States one, Dark States review, and also like what's coming up for Dark States as well, which also includes you know, Eden here, Diablo's boys Eden, yeah. So which includes Eden's here. This is one that I haven't I haven't seen these 2 yet. So let me take a look at this. All right, cost put this unit into the soul, and then after that choose one of your units and they get plus 2k. So this is a weird one, but it does feed your soul. Helpful for not only Barrow Magnus but also for Violence Bruce, because there was some times whereby I couldn't get my specific grade 1 out that allows me to add more souls into to add more souls from my deck. And so having to put this card in to give plus 2k, it's more so for the resource of Soul Blast than it is for the plus 2k in a way. So I miss playing Monster Hunter. I used to play on my PSP. I wish Rise would be available on PC. From what I heard, Monster Hunter Rise is coming to PC in early 2022. So you're gonna have to wait a year for it. If you want to play it now, you're going to have to get a Nintendo Switch for it. So, but if you do want to play on PC, yeah, you will have to wait quite a while for it. So for it to come out from there. Maybe they will. Maybe if they do announce an expansion, it might come out at the same time as the PC version, similar to what they did with Monster Hunter World. I think Monster Hunter World they released it a few months before Iceborne came out, so it could be a similar situation. And this one is the grade 2. So if you have Soul Charge this turn, this unit gets plus 2k. Not something I would play, because I don't feel the need for this to be 2000 power. Besides, I still have I still have Anger Richard for like 15k from there. I also have this as well for not only the 15k but also the +1 critical when it stands, which it will if you play with Violence Bruce. Yeah, and even the grade 3 as well. When you see the text, if you're in Final Rush, then you know, choose another one of your units and move it into Soul. Then you draw 1, Soul Charge 1. Then you know this unit gets +10k. Like, this is also really good consideration. This might be my secondary. This might be a secondary grade 3, but I may balance it between this and the one that is in the start deck at the moment right now. So which we are unable to view, I believe, not unless we go to the wiki. Right. By the way, which field is better? OG, G series, V series, or Overdress? I'm impartial to the G series one because I like the zone that's now the order zone. Before it was where the markers are, but that's where your G zone was. That's where your extra deck was. So I kind of like impartial to it, especially since in the early days of the channel, we actually played a lot of what you call it. We actually played with the playmat that actually, you know, we actually had the G zone, listed G zone, and then a small slot where we have the open cards from there. So yeah, to this day, I still like Strike. I still like the Strike mechanic. It's still one of my favorite mechanics for Vanguard that they have for Vanguard thus far, and I especially like the epic stuff that we can do. There's so many that we can list, and all because striding was a thing. So a lot of people may have their feelings about Strike, but for me, I still like Strike to this day. And part of the reason of that is the reason why I still look at Premium. I still look at Premium and I look at the Strikes and I go, I kind of like this and I kind of want to play around with it. So yeah, it's good nostalgia for me in my book. So yeah, it's pretty much it, I guess. I don't want to end the stream too fast because I still haven't got word on whether if Leon is able to arrive. But we'll see. So I think yeah, there you go. Usually when it didn't say during this game, it won't last long. So there's another one that gets it. So yeah, so pretty much run out of talking points for me at this time. So usually this is a 2 to 3 man live stream, but yeah, I mean, you guys are also part of the conversation as well. So like, feel free to ask me questions. Feel free to you know, share your opinions as well in terms of like, what do you think about what we've seen thus far, what you're expecting, what your hopes and fears for Vanguard going forward. I say that as this music is playing right now, so hopes and fears. Dun 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 dun. Same man, I agree. G series field was awesome, but I was wondering how Premium will fix it. So speaking of, hang on. Ito ne. Give me a second. I'm just trying to fix the window here. Where is the here we are. Number 1 and number, no, not number 2, number 3 from here. Oh, I'm split. Shouldn't I be? Hang on, give me a second. I think I put the wrong window. So, oh wait, no, I didn't put the wrong window. I just need to remove one. There we go.
Now it becomes just me.
No. Now it's you and me here. So.
No.
Right, how's it going now?
Okay, well, first things first, welcome to Vanguard Theory, the show where you try to find out whatever the heck is going on with all the cards that's currently being released. I claim a hobby now.
Right, Leon, I was asked earlier, where do you rank all 5 Overtriggers?
Good question. Where do I begin with this monstrosity?
Well, I can take a look at it from there. So, yeah. So, I'll give you my list. I ranked Stoichia number 5. Then I put Dragon Empire 4. Number 3 Dark States. Number 2 Brangate. Number 1 Cactus Sanctuary. Obviously. So.
I guess actually that's kind of also where I'm releasing my numbers.
Uh,
Because honestly speaking, so far the one if we are just looking at what it is, looking into just standard alone,
mm,
yeah, it kind of looks like that because the first, even though I'm a Dragon Empire fan, obviously, but right now resetting Vanguard doesn't really mean a lot
mm,
because it's not like I have extra critical at this point,
mm,
and the resending is only independent whether do you check the crit before it needs anything. Otherwise, it's just power and extra drive. It's not like nobody has ever dealt with them. So
yeah.
long there's no crit, there is no threat. The problem about resending Vanguard is that if there's no crit, there is no threat.
Mm,
So as for the Stoichia is kind of still because we haven't seen everything, and plus with the upcoming release of the cards from the booster set, it does not seem to go very well with that deck.
mm,
At least based on speculation.
mm,
As for the Dark State, Dark State is quite universal. It does prompt them to rush, so I think that's pretty good because extra critical is always good.
mm,
And the Renegade one is kind of subjective because again, you have all that power in the world, but if you're not doing anything specific with it, then there's no point lah. But which so far we have seen from Renegade, it also does not have withstanding abilities. So even if you double up you double up to 200 million, down to 600 million for my kid. It's still one damage.
it's still only one damage, but it also doubles the critical. So
it doubles the critical.
yeah.
So okay, so it does bring in some concerns
Mm,
from that. So it does put it into perspective. Now that you reminded me, it's double. So okay, maybe not so we have a problem.
yeah.
So but one side will be at least be in the millions of numbers, and the other side will on the still guardable range, even though it's double, unless it's telling me like 50k double to 30k, 45k.
Mm,
Which is still not too bad. 45k is not a number for that.
yeah.
But it is getting there.
Mm,
However, the 200 mil is definitely a PG on the card.
yeah.
As for lastly, the Kettle one is
Kettle Greyguards can drive, so
it's already looking better than the resending DP over trigger because this and plus with Bastion running around, there's a chance that you're gonna be checking about what 5-6 cards this turn.
yes, it'll be 4 to 6 cards.
Yes, and it will not be fun at all. It's gonna be very nasty because it's like hit with one side. You definitely no. You have to start with one side first.
Mm,
Start with one side, and then you swing with Bastion. Bastion check and grade 3, restand, and then check the over trigger and give power. So you will have at least 4 cards checked, but you still be going at 5 attacks instant.
yeah.
5 attacks individually with drive check. So comparing to just a center column standing Vanguard, it's not really worth anything.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if you look
But
at
at least that's my point.
yeah, but at least if you look at Bastion, like exclusively Bastion, because Bastion does have the restanding rear guard after all. So if you manage to check this, when Bastion manages to check this right, then you have another 2 potential grade 3s that you need to guard off for the drive check as well. So something like this, the main reason why I think you and I will put this on top is because no matter the timing of when this comes out, it's still going to be very good and it's still going to be a little nasty, especially if you're playing with Bastion.
Exactly. So there is a potential, and not to mention, if you are also looking into premium perspective, it's gonna get a whole lot worse as when we get to the hand of Bastard. I
Yeah.
guess on as Vanguard.
Yeah. And okay, I presented this. I think that down the line, right, they're gonna put up a restriction whereby Ultima and the Captain Sanctuary Overtrigger cannot share a deck.
No, I don't think so because it's not plausible. Because it will just essentially tell you to either you play the Zero Dragon or you play the Overtrigger, which it has nothing to do with each other. It so happens that it lined up like that. It's not like where is a consistent thing going on. This is a one-off.
Mm.
And you may or may not even have it even.
Mm.
So it wouldn't be fair for them to do such a restriction on something that is very heavily luck reliant. and nobody's gonna build a deck just revolving around that trigger so far. Because
yeah.
Because even though everyone's coming out all these ideas, think about it, coming out all these ideas, but you're dealing with 1 out of 42 chance or so.
Yeah,
because you minus.
Yeah, but Ultima can search, which means that you want to use Ultima as early as possible so that you risk, so that you don't risk losing the overtrigger to damage.
Yeah, your odds are higher, but you're still dealing with a probability by the time you get to that. Because you don't forget that in between getting to Ultima, there is that moment where you need to get to it first. So at any point at the start of the game, let's say at the start of the first hand, you stand and draw into the trigger. Okay, bye bye. And as you saw it yourself, sometimes okay, it's a charge.
Yeah. I mean that's what I mean by like you want to proc it off as early as possible so that you want to proc off Ultima as early as possible just so that you're able to keep the overtrigger in the deck still, because as long as it's not in the deck, right, you can't fetch it out. So
exactly. But that's exactly my point, because you're still dealing with a level of probability. So for them to restrict Ultima just for this reason, right, makes absolutely no sense.
According to
right.
different fight, you can make 8 drive checks when you use with Bastion. I counted in my head, it's only 6 because you attack with the rear. You do not have you attack with the rear, right? You have no drive check at the time because you haven't checked the overtrigger, and you want to attack with the rear first so that you can restand it with Bastion. So then you attack with Bastion, you get the overtrigger, and then you get a grade 3 after that. So then you restand. Then after you restand, it gets plus 10k, and after that, the next rear guard attacks, and then next rear guard attacks. So that's 6 in total. So the 8th one, right? Unless he's counting the first unit, which does not have the overtrigger yet. It's not possible to get 8, so unless I'm missing something here. So.
We will have to see what he means by that. See.
We have to see.
Because there might be something he Galaxy Brain that we did with us.
Okay.
We are all still treading into new waters for the overtrigger, so there might be something we missed out.
Yeah.
In terms of people.
We all kind of like missed out. So as apparently as we've seen with on Twitter, like this whole entire day as well.
Yep.
Yeah, like there's a lot of misunderstandings, especially with the Stoichia trigger, because a lot of people felt that this wasn't worded correctly. But you and I have always had the thought that the overtrigger is always all the triggers at once. So we were able to pair with it's all the triggers at once, and that means that this is not gonna last until the end of the game. This is not gonna stay there until the end of the game. It's gonna go away once the turn is over, because it's technically the triggers. So yeah,
it is.
I get
Essentially, it is.
I get the need for clarification. I honestly 100% do, because the wording for some people, they say that it's off, and I can see that being the case, because it literally says here, draw 1, choose one of your units, and until the end of the turn +1 critical. And for that turn +1 critical, then it says all of your units in the front row gets plus 10k. So a lot of people don't tie for the rest of the turn the +1 critical and the all units in the front row. They don't tie those two together.
Which is kind of weird.
It's kind of weird. But then again, because people are reading the cards, it's good to hear people are actually reading the cards.
They have no choice but to read the cards, because somebody's gonna abuse the daylight out of it. Someone will. The question is just how bad is it gonna be.
Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, I mean, so if you read the card its own, I can get why the wording can be construed, but thankfully they do clarify for that. So, and I get why they need to clarify, even though they made a bad pun out of it. So, because what the thing says is that the all units in the front row plus 10k part lasts only for the turn, same as the critical +1. The ability was written in this way for emphasis, because over triggers are really over the top. Get it? Over the top. Over trigger. We'll show ourselves out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
The guy behind the.
Yeah. So yeah. clarification wise, I'm glad that they did the clarification because it did require that. So I can see why people would need it. So it's good assurance to get from the source themselves saying that, oh, this is the way that it is. So, and I was talking to Adrius earlier here on the chat. So like the wording is like off. Like they should have worded it better. But I kind of explained that since V, right, they've actually tried to cut the fat in terms of their wording. Because they are expecting like certain decks or certain cards gonna have some fantastical skill, and if it has too much text in it, right, especially for English, it's not gonna be able to fit nicely, and it's not gonna be very legible that way as well. So I figured,
Yu-Gi-Oh! Would like to have a word with you.
I mean, let's take other games out of context for that. So, but the point being is that they want to cut their fat, they want to save on ink as well. So they can print more cards for you guys. So print more drugs. But yeah, I mean, I can see. I like the fact that they're cutting the fat because I did feel like there's a lot of like words that was very unnecessary. In G format, then they took it out in V, and going forward, it's like it's a save for my breath. So Razin says hi, Leon.
Hi.
Ultimately,
I lost my train of thoughts after the hi, Leon.
Oh, sorry. But anyways, let me get your opinions on this because we got the card of the days. We actually got the card of the days, right? And they're both for Dragon Empire. So the first one is that when placed on the Regard Circle, Counterblast 2, Soul Charge 1, choose one of your opponent's Regards and retire it.
Oh yeah, it's basically Berserk Dragon Reversal Charge.
Eugene. So this is for Eugene. So
it's for Eugene, yes.
All right.
Again, at the end, and then the other card is the
Stealth Fiend. So
yeah, the Stealth Fiend there, right there. Ninja girl.
Yeah, Ninja girl thing. I read the skill for you. So during your main phase, when your opponent's Regard is retired, by retiring this unit, you look at the top card of your deck and then call the card to Regard Circle if it's a unit card. Otherwise, Soul Charge. Otherwise, put it into Soul. Sorry.
It's something. Yeah, I know this skill. I was reading it today actually when I was at work. The problem about this card is that they're all supporting towards Eugene, and that's good. That's great. That's perfect.
But do you see this for okay lah, maybe not for Nirvana, because you don't want to retire. So yeah.
No. These cards are okay. Maybe not so much on the other grade 2, but the grade 1 itself, it's definitely forward towards Eugene's side of things.
Yeah.
Because technically the grade 2 can also be played with Marina, so that you can get the soul for you to do the soul blast if you are planning to still play the original Marina.
Yeah. So, and also because Eugene's skill is rest 2 regards, so technically you can rest her, and then after that when you get the instruction off, you can retire her, and then after that you can call a card to replace her, that sort of thing. So yeah.
It's basically kind of what they're trying to do here, but again, I am not really liking with the functions because like it actually contradicts itself a little bit in terms of its timing. Yeah, because of course it says during your main phase. So if you destroy using Virina, like you won't be able to proc this skill off because it needs to happen in the main phase. Exactly. So this is things are built specifically for Eugene. But again, the whole problem I'm having with it is that you are top decking your cards and then they're going into the soul. But I'm not seeing where else the soul is going to other than for Eugene. Eugene's soul Valrina. Like Valrina is not exactly the kind of guy you play using that. So it's like you must be really desperate to be using Eugene in the first place in terms of the soul blast.
That's fair. Alright, Brian asked earlier, which art is better, Zeroth Dragon, Progenitor Dragon, or Overtrigger? Zeroth Dragon.
That has been there for a while, but yes, I like the Zeroth Dragon better.
Yeah. I haven't really get it because you just came on, so then I wanted to get your thoughts on the rankings and the new cards and such. So. Zero Dragon hands down, because I think the arts for the Zero Dragon is a little bit more menacing compared to the projected dragons. Projected dragon seems a bit more like calm and more like slender kind of. They're more sleek. They're more sleek looking. So and then I look at the over trigger ones. It's like there's a lot of colors blooming out of everybody. Like everybody has a lot of colors blooming out of everybody, and so in terms of like the way that it's designed, I would say that the Zero Dragons are actually the better ones or so. Then I'll put over triggers after that, then I'll put projected dragons after that. So
Okay. So Mirin Mine. She was this was the name that was not revealed. What do you think the next she will be playing? This is the last character I mentioned, voiced by Vanguard. She could be playing Lyrical Monasterio.
Yep.
Could be.
She could be.
But probably those one episode or 2 episodes right?
If they do decide to put Lyrical Monasterio in there also. But I would say that if she is playing, if she plays Vanguard and I think one of the decks, she probably might be a Stoichea player, so which the deck you might see in like the second BT or something. So, and she's part 8 characters shown in Overdress. So my theory is she be playing one. Yeah. Razin says Leon got stunned. You guys planning to start back Vanguard? We never left.
we never left actually. That's it.
We never left. We are still here doing.
We just don't play very often.
Back then we weren't playing often also, but now with the new season here, right? We are trying to get stuff out because we are excited for the new season. We want to play. We are excited for the future of Vanguard right now. So yeah.
Again, the only reason why we took a break for a while was because B standard was getting out of hand. It's getting very nasty.
On top of stuff behind the scenes, plus the pandemic after that as well. So yeah, I mean we had to skip V for a number of reasons.
Yep.
But we never stopped paying attention to the game. We never stopped playing, even if it's all of our old stuff as well. Like we never stopped playing. Yep.
So what else do they have there?
This is actually their archive for today's cards, which I've just found out. Not found out. I just remembered that they have. So I'm able to fetch all the cards that were revealed in like Card of the Days from here, which also includes some of the stuff that we missed also. But it's also the same things that we've seen on our Discord, that some of our users have been posting up. So that's why. So this is where they're coming from. This is where we're seeing things also. Yeah.
Interesting.
No, I'm just waiting for when this slot says Virina Valiant, because I'm super excited to see what it does. Because I honestly think we talked about this earlier. I honestly do think that it will have the Overdress ability over Trickstar as we've seen in the commercial. It's a great tree, but I think that if it does not have a Vanguard skill, it definitely should have something related to a Vanguard skill. So I think that it should have the ability to drive check if it's an Overdress state, which I think would be really, really cool and something very nice for the Nirvana deck in general.
Then you will at least even the playing field a little bit with that over trigger.
Yeah.
Because at this moment, right, the Nirvana and restanding at best is only going to give you what? Another 10k?
Yep.
Again, it's all that power with no threat. So what exactly would the DE over trigger really play out? So if Verena Valiant has some kind of double critical thing or stuff like that, then maybe the resending will have some form of prominence in terms of its presence.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I must have to stick with the normal, the vanilla over trigger.
Yeah, I honestly do think that what you say is correct. If you had another source for drive checks, and it also makes it a dangerous target to put into prison, to put into retire or whatever CCs there is also, because having such a powerful ability to be able to go off, even if it's just for the one turn only, like not only could you check the over trigger, but you also can check more triggers to get more power as well. Like imagine if you have another rear guard that hasn't attacked yet, and then you pull off a front trigger. That's really good actually. It's really, really good. So, And it's not like overpowered as well, because with the way that the Nirvana deck was actually designed, like having that ability to the Dragon Empire deck would actually make it much more better and still balanced in a way, because it's an extra drive, but you do get the extra hand plus, and you also have the chance for the over trigger, which allows you to reset the Vanguard Nirvana. Woo.
Yep, basically, that's kind of what I feel that might be the case. Because the over trigger are designed in a way that they're trying to maximize with their current standard variants. Which, as you can see, if you play with their current counterparts, makes a lot of sense. Because if like Nevada with the with the Dragon Empire over trigger, it gives you an additional chance to do another counterblast of the arena's goal.
Yep.
Then you still get another set of triggers to drive like essentially.
Yeah.
Then the Dark State one prompts you to hit even harder because they are already slow as it is. So the over trigger helps to push that agenda.
Correct.
Then the Renegade is to mainly pushes the power because they themselves don't do much until when there are few cards in play.
Correct.
So they want to push their power to the maximum when that happens.
Correct. They want to push the power to the maximum. Yeah, absolutely.
But then Kepler is quite obvious as this is because all that grade 3 in the front row will be shaped in the low front.
Yep. Exactly. So like treating the over trigger as all triggers for Stoichia is actually quite strong for Magnolia. Yeah. And Keter does Keter things. So yeah, but it makes sense. But to speak fully on it, right? Keter makes sense because Bastion is a deck that plays with mostly grade 3s in the front row. So to capitalize on that, right, the over trigger letting your rear guards actually be able to drive check actually plays well because your grade 3s all have twin drive. So so it all fits towards the aces of the deck and what it plays. So and if what we see from Varina Valiant, in the fact that it could potentially that this is indicative of what we might expect from Violent Valiant, right? It could be a strong contender to say that Overdress ability perform a drive check. It might actually be a possibility. So, right.
Yep.
Brain says, I think he was thinking you came back since you guys did not play V series. So, well, you want to talk about it?
No, I'm just saying that because I do talk to Razin fairly often, so I kind of thought that we could play.
Yes, so we do know Razin on a personal level, so that's why he thought that we came back. So but in terms of like our content wise, we did stop, but as the aforementioned reasons, so we weren't able to continue for a while. So it's only recently that we were able to come back with some V series at the end, and then when they announced Overdress after that, it's like, oh, it's a good time to come back. So it's a good time to really schedule. Right on schedule. So it feels good. So same here. I never stopped playing. I'm happy that we have Vanguard. This game is awesome. Yes, this game is still fun. Like, there's no way that despite all that is done in terms of power creep and unfairness and whatever the community is doing, I still love this game because fundamentally speaking, this still is a very fun game. And if your fundamentals are very fun to begin with, I can see why this game can last 10 years. It's the same for Yu-Gi-Oh! It was the same for a lot of games also. A lot of games that still, are around, tried and true. And that's because the core fundamentals of the game was still very, very good. Even though we're not seeing any more boosts for like games like Buddy Fight, there's still a lot of dedicated players that are playing Buddy Fight still. And while they may not see any more new cards, so the game is still very fun to this day. Wish I could say the same for Luck and Logic.
Yeah. Luck and Logic, we do not talk about luck.
Well, we talk about Luck and Logic for joke reasons, so but yeah. Hey Aris, hey, and how are you guys doing? We're doing fine. Just chilling at the moment right now because we we didn't get a lot of news in terms of this week for Overdress. That's because we are 2 weeks out from the booster. So news drying up is all right. So in fact, I think in the weeks going forward, you might see stuff from the special series, maybe even BTO2 as well. So yeah, but we have one important thing to look at first, which is the second episode of the anime. I'm looking forward to it. I'm psyched to see more. So I was only here chatting with the captain and Leon. So you're more than happy to chat with us here on our weekly live streams, on Discord, on Twitch. Like we're gonna be in a lot of places, so you should be easy to find us on those platforms for sure. Yep. So do you think Locke is still around? It may show up, but I think similar to what they done in V-Series, they'll put it in a very limited capacity. Because in V-Series, right, Locke only showed up when Chaos Breaker Dragon came out.
Yeah, at least lock your opponent, rather.
Yeah, and not Locke.
Lock is still around, because Messiah still plays a lock mechanic, but they lock themselves.
Wait, even V-Series? Guess I kind of forgot already.
Yeah. The Messiah deck is a self-locking deck.
Oh, right, self-locking deck, so. Yeah. So, if they do bring back Lock, they'll put it in a limited capacity similar to what they done with V. And I like how they handled the Lock mechanic in V-Series. So I think in Overdress, right, they will follow the same approach. They could introduce Lock earlier. I can see that happening. But at the same time, it's like they've learned their lesson with what they've done with Lock thus far. And so introducing Lock to Overdress, they'll follow the same approach and keep it in a limited capacity.
Yeah, because see, the problem about Lock is that it shouldn't have existed in the first place. or at least when it did exist, right, it should be in a limited capacity. Because again, it makes no sense when you create a mechanic that destroys your game basic mechanic. Yeah, there's like the only reason why Link Joker was so strong in the first place is because I basically break a controller. I just took your control out of the floor. What are you gonna do about it?
They wanted to introduce a control style deck, but I think they went too far. Especially when they want to capitalize on it even further. And we got Omega Glendios out of it. So
yeah, we all know how that happened.
We all know how that happened. Not only did Omega Glendios needed a lot of work in order to make it thing, but they also boosted up the one mechanic that felt very detrimental to a lot of clans. And by the time the clans got the counters to it, right, Link Joker became not that good. So yeah, it became not that good. Then they do stuff to like let Link Joker be good again, but then the other clans got the same kind of power creep. So yeah, Link Joker was really the one that defined the power creep for Vanguard going forward. So, and I think that with what they've done with V-Series, other things ended up defining the power creep, but at least Chaos Breaker didn't. So Chaos Breaker didn't need to raise the bar because the bar was kind of set high. So there's no need to raise the bar, but then again, it couldn't really raise the bar any higher. Not unless they actually break the whole game. Right.
Okay. It's like, will you guys be watching the English dub of Overdress? Maybe.
We might,
because we are following more closely towards the Japanese dub.
Yeah.
I don't see why it would be a problem that watch. So we probably will.
I might pay some attention because these days I've actually been I've been paying more and more attention to the English dub to the English dub like voice cast. So these days I'm actually paying more and more attention to English voice actors, and so I might take I might take an interest in the English dub just to see how things kind of like sound from there and whether if it's good. So you will hear my thoughts about it on Twitter for sure. So, and maybe I might talk about it in one of our discussion streams as well. So. Ryzen says nice. So what do you guys think of the Dark States Overtrigger, the crit and plus tech care to end of the fight? Only your Vanguard has it, and it's much needed in the Dark States start deck because the deck is slow compared to the others, but at the same time also it's also quite powerful, and having something like that already set up at the get-go will make it will make that turn even more powerful and even set the tone for the rest of the fight if you're able to trigger it early. If you trigger it late, not the best situation, but it's still helpful. But I'd rather trigger it as early as possible. Alright.
It does have to push the game, that's for sure.
Brain says unboxing the booster when it comes and showing the best cards in the set. Well, the cards that we showcase in our unboxing, right, always comes down to what we have in the set. We always would like to refer you guys over to like box overviews or maybe even like the wiki itself. But I think if you're not able to secure the box, what we can do is like what some of the others done. Maybe we can do like a box overview and just talk about some of the best cards in the set. So, because while we will want to get the new cards from the first booster, we are not gonna do it in the traditional way whereby we buy loads of booster boxes and open it from there. If we can do that, we will do it and then we will showcase it on the channel. But if not, we can do a sort of like a box overview and maybe like a discussion in this format as well, like me, Leon, maybe Dempster as well if he's around, and we can do a discussion as to like how this card kind of like is. How do you feel about this card for this nation and what it does and so on and so forth. So that's something that we can do.
Oh, by the way, just kindly give me a quick moment, right?
Sure, no problem at all. So, yeah. So you guys, for me, yes, yeah. I'm curious, so I will watch it as well. I'm excited which voice actors will play it. Same as well. I'm kind of interested to see who they might get for voicing this. So it might be somebody that. It'd be nice to see that it's somebody that I know that's part of it, because then if it's somebody that I know, I tend to follow them on Twitter, and so it'd be nice to kind of like when they reveal that they're the voices for this character in the content that I make, it's like, yay, I get to chat to you about it. So right now these days, like one of my favorite voice actors currently right now is like Erica Harlacher. Like she's very, very sweet and she's very like bubbly, and her voice work is really, really good. So I enjoy her body of work in video games, Persona 5, also in Genshin Impact as well. Like she's one of the good ones that I really like pay attention to. And if it just so happens that she ended up voicing in Overdress, right, I will be very surprised but also be very happy about it as well. Because not only is she getting more work, that's another thing that that justifies my reason for following her on Twitter. That sort of thing. So.
Okay, and I'm back.
Yep, we'll go back. So.
I had to adjust my fan and it's getting very, very warm today.
Yes, it is a warm day today. Like the whole entire weather throughout the entire day was very, very hot. Yeah.
I'm like, very starting to get a bit drowsy.
Yeah. That's what's happening.
That's
what was happening to me throughout the entire day because of how the weather is, right? I'm like, wow, I 100% like I'm struggling trying to focus on the Cardfights right now. So, because I've finalized the assets already for all of the Cardfights. So we have the colors, we have the extra stuff that you guys suggested as well. We also have additional niceness to it. So yeah. I mean, on our road to crowning our Overdress champion, at the same time also starting our Overdress league as well. Like, whew, like I'm psyched that all this. Yeah, I'm psyched that all this is finally in place. So now I can bring the episodes to you guys, and we can start talking about the champion, and the champion himself can even show up and go, and he can just parade himself as much as he want to. Like we give him the legal right to write his own character and portray himself on all of our media here on CVGS. So
well, we'll find out soon enough who that person is.
You guys will know soon enough. So Razin says I've stopped playing Vanguard V because I playing too much card games. We're well aware, but the moment they said Token Rambo is coming back for Overdress, time to bring Sword Boys back to life, we're also very aware. So that's it also.
I mean, we are still doing content, so we have to come back. Like, yeah.
You're gonna have to come back to us about it anyway. So, alright. Brain says if you will voice a character in Overdress, who will it be? Danji. No, because I think my voice would fit Danji very, very, very well. So I really couldn't do Zakuza. Maybe I can do the bald guy that Masanori. Masanori. Maybe I could do Masanori, but yeah, that's about the limits that I think that I will be able to do. If Dessa was here, he definitely would give like his full, like, not say resume, but like he'll like try to figure out like what role would suit him best. So he definitely will not play Yu. He definitely will not play Yu so.
He definitely doesn't. He will never.
But I think Dems
Okay.
Dems might do.
sorry,
Yeah, no, I was saying that Dems might be able to do the Captain Century player, Toya.
No. It's actually more towards the Danji's friend. The Stoica player.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh no, that was the Bracket player.
The Bracket player.
Zakuza, yeah. I actually can see him being Zakuza, yeah.
He's more Zakuza. Then I'll be more of the Keta guy.
Yeah, you might be more of the
Because I'm
Keta
cocky
guy.
enough for it. Because I'm more cocky enough for it.
Yeah, indeed, also. Right. So, yeah, if you guys have any funny questions, do send them in. Yeah, because we will be ending the stream soon or so. But if you guys have any questions, just send them in. We are still happy to answer and just do so. Masanori's voice actor was Shin Nita. I didn't realize so, but yeah.
The bald guy is
okay.
is by Shin.
Okay lah. Well, at least he's still getting work in Bushi Road, so.
He is like they are kind of like poster boy already.
Yeah, I mean he is like their first Vanguard ambassador because he was one of the first voice actors, right? I think to actually like play the game and play the game well. Yeah, he was.
I know. Was it you who fought him?
No, I fought against Mark Ishii. He was the voice actor for Chrono back in Kara Expo. Yeah. Then
I don't remember which one.
No, you
lost.
Yeah, it was Chrono. So I lost, but at least it was a better show than whatever the hell was going on with Tokoha and Aina Aiba on the far side. You guys want to hear the story of when I fought against Chrono, the voice actor for Chrono in Kara Expo?
We might as well say it, so.
Okay, I'll talk about it. So like we were at Kara Expo at the time. The voice actors were there, Aina Aiba and Mark Ishii. Voice actors for Tokoha and Chrono respectively, and they were doing Jaken, so a member of the audience could be able to play a game of Vanguard from there. So the first 2 matches, they were doing 2 matches because they were doing a signing a meet and greet after that. So they only ended up playing 2 matches so each. The first 2 matches they played was 2 Vanguard players, and they were like tournament ready players. And then they fought against the voice actors who I think just play casually. Like they play for their job, but they also like play quite a bit. Mark was different because Mark played more Vanguard. He did play more Vanguard. So he did have other decks as well. Not just Chrono Jet. He also had did he have Glendios? Was it Glendios?
I have no idea. You're the one who fought him.
No. But you were there, right?
I was downstage. My brain shut down.
Oh, your brain shut down.
I just watched.
Okay.
Because I can't see the board. I don't know what to register.
No. I know what the board is happening, but I remember. But I'm just saying that he played more decks, not just the Chrono deck for his job. He played more decks and he actually built them and did his. So anyways, it came down to the last Junken, and then I had to Junken against one of my friends, and then I ended up getting it, and then. Instead of like playing my usual Nova Grappler, everybody in the group thought I would play my Nova Grappler against it, but I felt like putting on a show. I really felt like putting on a show. So I took my Chrono Fang deck, which I was helping Leon try to fix up. And I got it to a certain point whereby it's working. It's a little jank, but it's still working and it's nice and functional. Then I got the match against Chrono. So then we stand up Vanguard, and then it's basically Chrono Jet versus Chrono Fang. So yeah. So it's Chrono Jet and Chrono Fang, and compared to the other table where Aina Aiba was playing, I think they were playing I think it was another tournament player as well. So, but I played with Chrono, and we both know that we are doing a show here. Like he knew that I'm playing things up, and so he also played things up, and I just bounced it off of him. So it's really, really good energy. So we ride up, and then after that I went into I rode up into Steam Tamer Nani, and then he just went Nani. I played along with him, Nani. The crowd also went on Nani. He also faked out a ride up to Chrono Jet because he rode to Chrono Jet, but then he like pretended that he didn't have Chrono Jet. He tried to strike Jet. He tried to G assist. I was like, no, I'm not gonna G assist. Right to Chrono Jet. Then I rode to Chrono Fang. We did our strides. I did not win the match. At the end of the day, I did not win the match, but that was the best match of the show because he also recognized it. He knew that I was helping him put on the show as well. So we just played the match up for laughs. It didn't matter who win or lose. It was just it was just having a match with the voice actors and just showcasing more of their talents and their love for the game, so which is what happened. So it's still one of my most cherished memories, my most favorite stories, and I don't think I'll ever be that lucky again in terms of being able to go up against that. But it would have been so nice, but it would have been nice, right, if we could get like some of the voice actors from Bushiroad to like give us a shout out if it was possible.
Yeah.
Like we would love it. We would love it to the core.
If we are if we actually become as big as DF, then we
Maybe if we became as big as DF, then we could possibly do so. So, but
I'm sure if that's still possible, but because you have to go tournaments and all that kind of stuff.
yeah,
Out of shape for that.
yeah. So, but you know, maybe one of these days it still can happen with your guys' support. We can actually 100% do that. So let your friends know that CVGS is around. We're doing Overdress content. Let them know, hey, we're doing this. They're awesome. They do jokes. They do other stuff as well to keep the games interesting. Yeah, let them know that we exist and ask them to slam the like button and subscribe button. Ring the bell. So, Brain says that the voice actor for Chrono also came in the Philippines. It was sad you were not able to meet him. He's a great guy. He really is a very, very great guy. Like, just a few minutes interacting with him is like, I can get like, he's such a cool, down-to-earth guy.
Yeah, but it was unfortunate that I have no gameplay experience against any of the voice actors because I always lose my junket. I never once got even rebooted this.
I think I'm the only one in the team that actually have that experience. Yeah.
It was like, I didn't have it.
Yeah, but it was great.
I only had a brief interaction with Yogana's master during the Car Expo years ago. So we were covering the event at the time. I think we actually have a vlog for it. But yeah, we actually did a vlog for it. That was my only encounter with one of the voice actors there.
Me and Dempster, we did interviews during doing when they're having the expo as well, and like, you know, we just did like Q&As, like we were basically media stuff from there. So we did meet a few other voice actors, which also includes at the time it was mainly for Bang Dream. So we met Aimi with the rest of the Bang Dream voice actors as well together, and we also met Kita Izumi. Like, Leon Dempster has met Kita Izumi like several times, so it's to the point whereby they go Sashibari. It's been a while, so
Yes. It's hilarious.
it's superbly hilarious also. But yeah, Dems is a voice actor, so he's like very into the voice acting community. So in terms of him being like media and also like being able to chat with the Japanese voice actors at the time, so it's kind of right up his alley. It was really right up his alley. So yeah. Plus, in Singapore, you don't get to meet a lot of people that are actually able to speak fluent Japanese. So
Yeah, so it helps leave an impression. So
yep. So Dems really left a very, very good impression. So yeah.
okay, then we're sorry that I came up this late. So yeah.
Yeah, I did mention that you were a working adult. We all are working adults, and so we do have our responsibilities that we do need to take care of. So again, pardon us for not being able to be here on time. We'll make sure that we're able to get this time slot up so that you guys can rely on us being there at all times as possible. So things can happen, of course. Nothing is 100%, but we will do our best to make sure that we will bring you these live streams, these discussion streams, because we enjoy talking to you guys, and it's so good to still see you guys over here and just chatting it up with us. So appreciate it a lot. So right. So I think with the time being the way that it is, I think we will end our discussion stream here. Thank you guys again for joining us for this discussion stream. Hey, if you guys aren't subscribed to us here on CVGS, why not do it? You know, like, it's free.
Just do it.
It's free. And also you'll be able to keep up to date with all the Overdress content that we have coming out, as well as Battle Spirit stuff as well. So we will be also covering Battle Spirits here on this channel as well. If you're interested, Battle Spirits is a really, really good game. It's a fun game. You guys can check out our unboxing videos, some fight videos as well. Here on CVGS with Vanguard stuff, you'll be able to look forward to our matches in Overdress format, where we'll be crowning our first CVGS Overdress champion. So do look forward to that in the coming days or so. So in order to see all of that happening,
Yep.
Be sure to slam that like and subscribe button and ring the ding the bell so you get notified of all of our videos whenever they get released. At the same time, also follow us on all of our socials. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram. We also have a Discord as well, so you guys can talk to us if you're off stream. If you're not on Twitch, you can find us there on most nights, myself and Leon. At the same time, also follow us on Twitch as well. So that's another platform you guys can find us. We're happily still continuing to play Monster Hunter Rise, which I realized I should have prepared this beforehand. We're still enjoying Monster Hunter Rise, so if you guys do play Monster Hunter Rise, you can potentially play with us. If you need us for tips, two experts, like two long-time veterans here, like we're more than happy to help any new blood. So
No, never call ourselves experts. We're not experts. We're just casuals. Just long time casuals.
Long time casuals also. But nonetheless, you can still come up and join us and just have a chat and have fun with us over on Twitch as well. So, and also, last but not least, if you guys like what you see here and want to support us directly, you can hit the join button next to the subscribe button, and then you have access to our meme emotes and badges for when they happen. So you guys can join that likes of Daddy Aguieto, Wan Hao Law, Samuel McKay. You guys are so awesome in supporting us over here on YouTube. So thank you so much for it, and hope you guys enjoy the content that you request, as well as your meme emotes and badges on live streams as well. So Brain says good luck in your tournament, guys. Let's go for Cater. So it's not a tournament, it's just crowning the first champion. There is no tournament, it's just
Not yet.
We will have a league, and that league will help us decide challenges for the champion as well as a loser as to who will be punished. So we will have a punishment at some point at the end of the league season for sure. Right, so with all that said, Leon, do you have any final words for everybody?
Nope.
Absolutely, absolutely not. Also, right. Thank you so much for joining us this past week for Brandgate. Brandgate will be coming very, very soon, just not yet. So, right. So, with all that said, thank you guys again for joining us, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.
Bye bye.